Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope you're having a great start to this new 365 days that we're having. Welcome, everyone. I hope you also had great holidays, great break. You spend time with your loved ones. Um, I'm gonna continue the webinar, and to those of you who are new and doesn't know what's NJ Tribes, these are small business webinars that we do every week. And our goal here is to help you start, if you haven't started your business, grow and thrive. I'm your host today, Gloria Marabru, Assistant Coordinator here at NJSBDC. And the NJSBDC, or the New Jersey Small Business Development Center Network, it's a statewide program powered by the SBA and partners, and we help you here with three main things. First of all, no-cost small business consulting, training and events starting at zero cost, and exclusive small business resources. We are throughout New Jersey. If you see here to the right, here is a map of all the SBDC that you'll find in New Jersey. And you can learn more about NJSBDC at njsbdc.com and also find your local NJSBDC. So today we're having this series that we started a couple of months ago. We host it every Tuesday, and it's basically to help you register your business with zero cost NJSBDC support. And we're gonna be here every Tuesday, and you can learn more. We're gonna show you more in a couple of minutes, but basically Vanessa, she's gonna be joining us in a couple of minutes. She's going to walk you through the process of registering your business and holding your hand throughout the process. Before we do that, we're going to go through the agenda. We're going to go through some headlines that might be relevant to you. And then we're going to start the presentation, and we're going to have a Q&A section. So I'm going to share some headlines with you. Well, first of all, we're having this live webinar that's happening tomorrow, January 3rd, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you who are interested on having or in doing any businesses outside of the U.S. on countries like Panama, Costa Rica, or Colombia, you can attend this webinar. That's from the International Business and Technology and the U.S. Commercial Service of United States, of course. You can register here and learn more about what's required for you, and then the Global Diversity Export Initiative that they're having, and that's happening on March. I'll drop the link in the chat for you to take a look at it. And then the second headline that we're having today, it's that the America's Seed Fund Tour, it's happening soon too. You can find the dates here, but this is basically to just connect with innovators and entrepreneurs to non-dilutive technology funding opportunities. So if you're interested in that and you have heard about America's Seed Fund in the past, you can go to this link and learn more. So I'll drop it in the chat in a few minutes, but in the meantime, few things to keep in mind. Please type your questions in the Q&A box so we don't miss them. And please complete the 3-minute survey that I'm going to put in the chat, and I also put it in a few minutes ago, just so you get the webinar resources that Vanessa, our host, is going to be sharing with you. So without further ado, I think I have said it multiple times, we're having Vanessa today. She's an NJSBDC consultant as well. And as mentioned before, she's going to be giving you some tips and tricks to start your business journey. Vanessa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gloria, for that introduction, and Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to the new year, and hopefully welcome to some exciting new business starts from many of you. Just wanted to let you know that we are here to assist in any way possible. And, whether you're ready to take your hobby to the next level, or you're interested in pursuing a side hustle, or you're a professional in your own space and believe the time is right to enter into the world of entrepreneurship, we are proud of you. It's a good idea. Making the time to educate yourself on the process, the costs, the requirements, and tax consequences. It's all critical. It's all critical to your success, and it could make a very big difference in your future. So I'm going to share my screen. Share. Okay. And we'll get started. Okay. So what to know about starting your new business. And primarily, we will be focusing on the limited liability company, the LLC, today. So basically, there are multiple business structures that you may choose when you're ready to start a business here in New Jersey. The process that you have to think about is that there is a formation piece to the start of your business, and then there's the registration piece. They're two separate processes, and we're going to go through that. There's also other items that you have to be aware of. There are state regulations for certain industries, certain professions, certain businesses that are formed that you should make sure that you are on top of. We'll talk a little bit about that. There are tax consequences, both from income taxes as business owners, as well as any additional state taxes that are imposed upon your business, depending on what it is that you're doing, primarily thinking of sales tax, collecting sales tax, and remitting sales tax if your items that you are selling or your services that you're providing are subject to New Jersey state sales tax. There are funding issues to think about in terms of money to get your business started, and a number of needs. But one thing that we want you to be aware of, that at the New Jersey Small Business Development Center, all the options are available to you for assistance for your start, your growth, and any other items that you may wish discussing. You will have the opportunity to speak with a business mentor and get the assistance, hopefully, that you need so that you may be successful. So to start talking about some of the structures that are available, we'll just briefly go over some of the names so that you're familiar with it. The probably the least cumbersome structure is to form as a sole proprietorship. It is basically a very simple process. You are allowed to obtain a trade name. You obtain that trade name from your county clerk's office. So each county will have a county clerk's office. You can go online and you can probably see there is some option to file for a trade name. Relatively inexpensive, maybe $40 to $50 to file for a trade name. You would do that through your, again, through your county. Your name would be unique in your county. And with respect to using a tax ID, you may use your Social Security number, or you may, in fact, go and get an EIN from the IRS. So EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. It is not required as a sole proprietor. You can use your Social Security number as a tax ID, but very often we would recommend that an EIN is probably a safe way to go about utilizing a tax number for your business. It's to protect your Social Security number. And so, again, the IRS is where you would obtain the tax ID number for your business. And it is a free process. You do not pay for an EIN. You go straight to the irs.gov. And once again, these are types of things that we would assist you with if you needed help. You are allowed to use your personal banking accounts with a sole proprietor. As you transact business, you may take the the proceeds from the transaction deposited directly to your personal bank account. That's acceptable. The income from your business is reported using a Schedule C attachment to your personal income tax returns. It's passed through straight through that process, so no need for a separate tax filing for the business. And with that thought of using your personal banking accounts, it's basically goes with the fact that in a sole proprietorship, there is no legal separation between the assets of the owner and the business. You're one and the same. And even though that makes for an easier business structure, unfortunately, in this respect, there's no liability protection. So you are not, you are the business is you, and your personal assets could be at risk if there's ever any sort of a debt issue or a lawsuit issue, depending on with your business. Moving on to more structured business structures, we have the LLC, and then we have the corporation. Now we're getting into a little bit more of a structured legal business entity. It's a little bit more to do, but we'll first talk about the LLC, a little bit about the corporation, and then we'll circle back to the LLC. But basically, a limited liability company, it's still relatively simple structure in that it only costs $128 to form. There's a $75 per year dues that are required to maintain an LLC in good standing. The difference here, as opposed to the sole proprietorship, is you are required to have a separate tax ID number assigned to that LLC. The again, the EIN is something that you would obtain from the IRS, and there's a very simple online filing process right at irs.gov, and where you could obtain the EIN. You are required to have a separate business banking account when you have an LLC. So now we have a situation where your personal assets are separate from your business assets, at least initially. So when you transact business and you receive your payments for the services you might provide or the goods you might sell, you are required to, if you are going to deposit the money into a banking account, you need to have it into a business banking account separate from your personal. And that allows your personal self to be separated from your business. And in that, with the LLC, you are given or provided some limited liability with respect to the business. You are permitted to choose how you wish to be taxed. That's the beauty of an LLC. They're state by state of business formations within each state. A New Jersey domestic LLC formed in New Jersey. Once we get to the registration of the business, which we'll talk about that process, is where you are permitted to choose how you wish to be taxed. If you're a single member LLC, member means owner in LLC terminology, you may actually still choose that Schedule C tax filing, which is what we discussed is how a sole proprietorship is taxed. You have that benefit if you're a single owner or single member of an LLC. If there's more than one owner, a multi-member LLC, most likely you will be filing the Form 1065, or ultimately LLCs do have the option to choose to be taxed as a corporation, as the S Corp, and that would be a Form 1120. Now, corporations are probably the most protected and in terms of liability protection, in terms of their structure. They're a little bit more elaborate in its formation. You are required to establish bylaws. There's a board of directors. There are requirements for shareholder meetings. It's more cumbersome. There are small businesses who do decide to incorporate for various reasons, primarily. I mean, there are a number of reasons why small business might decide to incorporate versus form an LLC. Definitely, depending on the risk that your business presents, the corporation does allow for the strongest liability protection. In terms of lending, with the corporation, you are it could be more favorable, not necessarily, in terms of your ability to borrow money and transact business. But it depends. There are big companies who are LLCs, and there are small companies that are corporations. These are the types of things that are worth discussing and researching for yourself. And in both cases, you are required to, in all cases, I'm sorry, I should say, is once you form your business, you are required to register that business with the Division of Revenue and Treasury in New Jersey. That shows the state that you are formed and that you are acknowledging of how you wish to be taxed. And it also alerts the state what the ownership percentages are for the company. Sometimes you may hear of a C Corp versus an S Corp. Basically, the S Corp allows for a change in tax status for the corporations. In a C Corp, you have a corporate tax rate whereby at the end of your income statement, the corporation is its own, in its own right, has to pay a corporate tax rate on the income. Whereas some corporations decide they'd like to file for the S Corp status. That eliminates the double taxation. That's something that you can certainly learn more about if you're in that position. We're not going to get too much into that right now, but it's just something to consider that the S Corp has a pass-through tax filing allowance, which kind of eliminates that corporate tax rate. LLC owners, as I alluded to earlier, have the option to be taxed as S Corps. When you're an LLC owner, you're not an employee of your company. You are the owner. You earn your profits through the income of the business, and self-employment taxes kick in there. There are times maybe, this is something you would want to discuss with an accountant. It may be more economically feasible from a cash basis and more tax shielding for you to decide at a certain point in your business growth that being taxed as an S Corp and thereby allowing yourself to maybe be paid as an employee of your company as well as having ownership could be more tax advantageous. So that's something, again, we would recommend you'd want to discuss with your accountant. So getting back to the LLC, we here at the SBDC are here to walk you through it and have you get it right the first time. We very much encourage you to do this yourself, or at least be in the know, or walk through it with somebody who is in the know so that you understand the steps of forming your business. It's very important as a business owner to know the terminology, to understand what it is you're doing and what it is you are on the hook for. And it comes about very often when little hiccups or questions about your business and what you're required to do. And when you don't set it up yourself, sometimes you're not aware of all the ins and outs. And these are the types of things we want to make sure that you are comfortable with and aware of. So the portal, the njportal.com, everything can be found there. Your formation, your registration, how to file an annual report. Filing an annual report for an LLC is merely just paying your annual dues. It sounds very cumbersome. It sounds like it's a big task. No, it really is just logging in to the portal at your, usually it'll come about at your year anniversary. And it's at the time of the year when you will pay your dues and, answer a couple of questions, nothing crazy. There's no financial reporting of any sort. Basically, it's just to make sure that everything is still the same and you pay your dues and you're done. So we want you to understand all the obligations, the requirements, and we would assist you with that as you go about forming and registering your business. So this is what I just said. Once formed, don't forget to register. Many times when formations take place, people think that they are all done. It's not the case. The last step to register that business is what really allows you to legally transact business in the state of New Jersey. It's overlooked very often. Sometimes third-party entities that are helping you or assisting you to form that business, whether it be an attorney or accountant or LegalZoom, for whatever reason, I have found that many of them do not only do they not take that last step and assist you in that registration, they don't even tell you, hey, please be aware, or maybe they do, it's in fine print somewhere, I can't be sure, but they overlook many of these businesses overlook that last step, and it can become a problem, especially when there are benefits that you can receive through the state, or when it comes time for grants, when it comes time for any sort of state benefit, whether you're looking to get certified, the first thing they're going to ask for is the business registration certificate. And if you're not registered, then that's a problem. Starting in 2024, which I guess is yesterday, there are new federal requirements to in owning a business, and an LLC is included in that, whereby the federal government is looking for an additional report on ownership. It's another step. So when we say it's a multi-step process, we are going to now be required to do one more step. It's still being ironed out somewhat, but the site is up and running. I did check it yesterday. It does look like you could go ahead and get on there and do what you have to do. Work with us. We'll be assisting people through this. If you are an existing LLC owner, I believe you have this full year to go back in and file this beneficial ownership information report. If you are not yet in business and you're looking to start your business, I believe there's a 30 to 90-day, wasn't quite clear. We're still kind of learning the ins and outs of it, to once you're registered and you have your documentation, you'll have a period of time to go back in and then file this final report. Looks like it can all be done online. Again, this is new. My personal opinion is to talk to one of us first. There might be a lot of scammers out there. I think I'm already seeing some warnings on even on this site. Third parties looking for you to provide all your information to them so they can go ahead and file this on your behalf. And that's, you providing all, personal information to them. Be careful. I think I know this is something that you should be able to do by yourself on your own, and maybe with some guidance if you have questions, but hesitate please first before, don't give any of your information and without understanding what it is you have to do, and why pay extra money. I'm sure there are some legitimate services out there that are going to try and do this for you, but check with us first, because perhaps really this is something that you as the business owner should be able to do yourself. So these are the things that you'll need to have to start your own business. You'll need a unique an LLC. You'll need a unique name. Now, this unique name would be in all the state of New Jersey. You can search for that availability right on this link. When you put the survey out after the end of this presentation, you will get a copy of this presentation so that you will be able to link in and get access to the wherever you see links in the presentation. But this is where you'll be able to search to see if your name is available. You'll also need your tax ID, the EIN from the IRS. It's free. Do not pay for that. Then there are some industry codes that are required to for just statistic and purposes. The state likes to keep track of what industries you're in. There will be links to these codes to determine which code best describes what business it is that you're starting, and you can evaluate at that point which one you would like to use. You will need a registered agent, a New Jersey registered agent. You may choose yourself, in which case you don't have to pay anything. You are permitted to choose yourself as your own registered agent, and you'll have the mail and all the legal documents sent to you. The cost for a New Jersey registered agent depends on what you choose. There are some good options out there. I've seen some for as little as $49 a year if you don't want to use yourself as the registered agent. The registered agent is on file. So sometimes if you're a small business and you may not want to put your home address, you can hire a registered agent. It has to be a legitimate agent. And they have to be obviously offering the service, and it does come at a small cost. You'll need an operating agreement if you're more than one member. These are the types of things that we can discuss with you, and what needs to be in that operating agreement. There's some templates online that could help you put that together. The cost for the LLC is the $125 plus the processing fee. You can use an e-check, all done online, but you'll need a debit or a credit card if you're going to charge it. And then you'll need the names and addresses and social security numbers, as well as the ownership percentages of all the owners that are in the company. You will also need to know when the time comes in the process, happens on the registration application, how you wish to be taxed. Once again, those are the three options that are given to you as a LLC. You'll need to know if the sale of your goods and/or services are subject to New Jersey state sales tax, and if you're eligible to make the exempt purchases. So we have later on in this presentation, you will see there's a link to the New Jersey handbook, the guide from the Division of Taxation of what's taxable, what isn't taxable. There are some goods and services that you might think are taxable, but they're not. It's best to always check. For the most part, you would think usually the sale of goods, consumer products, they are subject to state sales tax, but there are exceptions and exemptions, and clothing, basic clothing is one of them. And there are services that are typically that would not be subject to sales tax. You think of a service, but then there are exceptions there as well. For example, cleaning services are subject to state sales tax. So it's always good to check. And then knowing whether or not your business requires additional registrations or certifications. The one that comes to mind is a general contractor. There is an additional registration to be a handyman general contractor in New Jersey. There are websites that through the Business Action Center, which we have the links later in the presentation, that kind of goes through if your profession requires additional certifications or licenses. Think of home health aides require a special license. And then you'll need to identify a bank so that you can open up a business bank account. The best thing I could recommend there is try to find a bank that doesn't charge you any fees. The last thing you need as a small business is to pay additional fees. Some may ask for a certain minimum amount. Maybe some where you personally bank will allow for some threshold. I know my business bank account is set up, and as long as I make 3 transactions with my debit card a month, I have no fees. Okay, so what did I do there? Okay, so now these are the links that I was referring to: the licenses and registrations, sales tax requirements, some information on income tax, hiring of employees versus independent contractors. If you have questions about any of these types of things, it's helpful to talk to a business mentor. We can talk you through it, discuss it, give you some resources, things to think about. And business insurance and workers' compensation is always something worth discussing and making sure that you're aware of what's necessary and required as business owners. So separate from all of that, as you start a business, there'll be startup cash needs that you will have to have in order to kind of get that business off the ground. There's operating requirements in order to keep the business afloat. Personal budget is how much money you are ready and able to invest into your own business. Do you need additional sources of capital? We definitely are here to help with all of that in terms of what you might need to get the business off the ground. So if that means putting a business plan together, maybe looking out for a low cost, loan to start up, we can assist you. We have relationships with lenders, and we know what they are looking for in terms of business plan, projections. Working with an SBDC counselor can really help you prepare for loans if that's where you have to be. And then understanding your financial statements, very important. Understanding some of the financial terms as business owners. You may not have had a financial background necessarily. Most business owners, many don't, and that's totally fine. But there are certain basic terms and understanding of how the money flows in and out of your business that will be very important to whether or not you'll be successful. Understanding that there's an income statement that you'll have to keep track of, all the money comes in versus the money that goes out, your cash flows, your balance sheet. It's worth maybe attending some free webinars. We have so many resources available to you through the Small Business Development Center in our library, just discussing some of these types of things. The bottom line is we always want to make sure as business owners that we are taking in more than we're spending. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We want to see you be profitable and grow profitably. And sometimes that a little understanding of financial statements can go a long way to keeping your business profitable. And we offer classes. We have offered classes in QuickBooks. So if that's something that you're interested in, bookkeeping is so important as a business owner as well. And when and if you need to seek an accountant, a lawyer, insurance agent, lender, these are the types of services that are available to you, obviously, out in the private sector. Sometimes it's best speak to a business mentor, speak to one of us. We do have social media and marketing counselors that you can speak to at first. Whatever it is that we can possibly help you with, we will do so. And if we feel that, hey, this is the job of an accountant, this is the job of a lawyer. We'll be honest and we will tell you, because at the end of the day, it's important to know who you need what for. And maybe speaking to a mentor at first could help guide you in that respect. And then really lastly, just so you know, once you form, the SBDC can help with state certifications if you have questions about eventually going down the path of procurement and contracting. The lending side of it, again, we can help you prepare for financing if that's something that you're thinking of doing. And we work very closely with the NJEDA, and there is tremendous resource in New Jersey for small businesses, for businesses in general, with respect to grants and programs and lending. And we have a number of webinars available through our website, which would be worth looking into. And I think with that, I'm just going to explain this a little bit. This slide is that if you are not in business right now and you'd like to form the business, the top scan QR code will lead you to a application to request counseling to get your business formed and registered. If you're already in business and you want to speak to a business mentor, it'll direct you, probably based on geographic location of where you are. It'll take you right to one of our centers. You can scan or click, once you get the slides, the bottom link on the bottom part of the slide, or this QR code. So with that, we can turn it over to questions if anybody has any.
Great. Thank you, Vanessa. Great information. I hope everyone is finding or found it helpful. We have a couple of questions. Hope asks, who do you pay the yearly $75 to?
Oh, that's a good question. That goes straight to New Jersey, the Division of Revenue and Treasury. So it's through the portal. It's the annual dues. You log in your information and it'll take you right to the payment page, and it goes directly to the state.
Great. Yes, Hope. Michael asked, is there a website where we can check to see if our company is already registered with the state of New Jersey?
Yes, there is. Let's see. Trying to think the best way I can show you how to do this. Well, if you go to the portal, njportal.com, and then you go to, and again, if you want to talk to somebody and make an appointment, we can walk you through it. But through the NJ portal, if you go to, get, what is it? Documents, you can request your registration certificate, basically. And you have to plug in your first 4 letters of your business name, and then you have a choice of 3 other identifying numbers, whether it be your tax ID or your formation number, your certificate of formation number, the entity identification number from the state. And then if it comes up, you'll see that you have registered. If it doesn't, chances are you may not have. So that's one way, but make an appointment. We do this all the time. We can always walk you through that process if you're having trouble.
Great, thank you. And again, yes, you can just put your phone in the screen, point your camera to the screen, and you will get a link, and there you can find Vanessa if you want to have any consultation with her. We have another question for Cheryl. She's asking if for forming a NJ business, one of the owners does not have a social security number and doesn't reside in the US, is that a problem?
Yes, I believe so, but make an appointment, yes, the on the registration, there has to be a tax ID. Yes, there has to be some tax ID number. I don't want to get too into specifics like that in terms of, because it can get a little bit complicated. I believe you can have an international tax ID number in there, but best to make an appointment, hear your situation. But in the registration, I can say when you put in the owners, you can't get past that screen without some tax ID number in the on that page for each of the owners.
I'm seeing a couple of questions regarding the request for counseling. If you register in the past, and that was during the holiday season, I'm pretty sure Vanessa is catching up. We're all catching up a little. So if you register and you haven't heard back from us, feel free to reach out to Vanessa. Would you be a point of contact for that? If you can share your email, or
yeah, sure.
For people who register.
Well, yes, let me put my email in the chat in case you have any questions. But let's see about where you are in the registration process. We were closed last week for the most part. So if you requested counseling toward the end of December, it's if you haven't heard from somebody, you should be hearing from somebody this week. And I can always look it up. If you email me and you have a question because you don't know where it went, I'll just here. There we go.
And then the consultations are for the most part virtual. So Vanessa will be reaching out to you, and then she'll be sending, if a meeting is needed, a Zoom link or any other platform link that you can meet with her. Something important too is that if you're registering, please use the link that we are providing to you. Just because it's like it's a special link that we're using for this program, and if you register through any other SBDC, then you will need to, the wait time will be a little bit more, just because you will need to specify that you want to speak with Vanessa. So as she mentioned before, if you are someone that is registering for the first time and you're entering all your data to our system, then you wouldn't need to take any further steps. But if you are registered, if you've registered before, and if you're in the system already, please make sure that you leave a note saying that you want to register and speak with Vanessa, just so whoever it's taking a look at your application can refer that your registration to Vanessa. We have another question, Vanessa, from Cheryl, and they ask, please repeat and clarify where we can find information on which products or services are taxable in New Jersey.
Oh, yes. Here, let me back up on my slides. Okay, so here's the link. So if you get the slides after this, you just click here. But if you just want to Google it real fast, New Jersey, I think that's called, well, it's, well, this is a link. Let me just put the link in the chat so that way I always somehow find it. Oh, I don't even know how to do that. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to click on it. This is what it looks like, if everybody can see. What do I know? Yeah, I normally just put in some keywords, and somehow I always find it instead of going through all through the main site. But I'm going to copy this just because you asked. I'm going to put it right in the chat. So if anybody just wants to grab it, they can. But you can see here, this is where it is. Just goes through everything. Okay.
Yep, great. Thank you. Another question is, do we need a EIN number or SSN number for formation process?
No, actually, you don't. It's there in an LLC formation when you're on the site on the application. There's a section to put your EIN, but it won't prohibit you from receiving a certificate of formation without an EIN. Once you get to the registration of the business, by that point, you have to have that EIN. I always, in the formation, we just make sure we get the EIN right away, because we want to make sure that the EIN, the name, the EIN is assigned to the business name that's in the legal certificate of formation. So it's just easier to do it right from the beginning. But technically, you do not. You can get through a certificate of formation application without an EIN.
Great. Another question is it a requirement to do business with the industry I classify under NAICS is done in the beginning? Can it be in a different industry afterward?
It's fine. It asks you to choose one, and it does not mean that you can have multiple business lines or other items that you're doing. I always just say pick one that maybe best identifies what it is that you're doing, and it doesn't mean that you can't change it. It's just, it's for statistical purposes for the state to kind of see what new businesses are being formed in the state.
Do we file business income tax the same time as our personal income tax by April?
Yeah, it depends on that's a good question. When you're in the registration part of the application, it'll ask you what's the fiscal year end for your business. For some reason, if it's December, if your fiscal year end for your business is December, which for most cases it always is, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, there are reasons, maybe seasonal businesses or other reasons why your company may choose to have a different fiscal year end. But if you have a December year end, then yes, the April 15th is you would have the April filing.
Great. For those of you asking for government contracts, procurement, small business registration or certification, sorry, because registration Vanessa is going through today. I'll drop a link in the chat where you can find all of our past webinars, and you can see some procurement webinars there that you can have some like more information on government guiding. Another question, Vanessa, it's, can you receive a grant if you're just starting up?
It's difficult. It depends. And this is why it's good to talk it out. This is just me speaking. I mean, I can't say for certain, that there isn't somebody out there in the world who didn't get a grant initially for a startup. And it depends on where you are in your startup. So if you're not even formed and registered yet, it's very unlikely that there's a grant out there that's just gonna, come and give you startup money. You have to be pretty well along in terms of being formed and registered, have a business purpose. It never hurts to look. Like, we have resources for grants. There's a number of them out there. And depending on what it is that you're doing, you may find that perfect opportunity where somebody is looking to provide grant money to somebody who's doing what you're doing, and it fits and it's great and you apply. But it should always be something that is done in conjunction with your startup, but not, I wouldn't depend on it, if that makes any sense. It's a tough one. You really need to have, it's much more helpful to receive grant money once you're a little bit along the way and you've gotten started. And say, you have an opportunity where there's a piece of technology or capital that you need to really grow that business, and you're really just getting started, but you're operating. Yeah, maybe that's a great time to go out there and look for a grant, because they'll see that you've started, you have your business purpose, you're moving along. But really, right now, this grant money would come in handy because of the work that you're doing, and it could give you that extra working capital or that extra monetary a boost to grow that business even further. So that's when it would be, I think, potentially more likely and accessible for a startup.
Yep. As the SBA website and the NJEDA website are also great places to look out for any grant opportunities and openings. Vanessa, is there a specific tool to look up the New Jersey specific industry codes?
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to add this to this presentation. It's the NJ, so NCS. No, it's not it. Okay. I am going to put this in the chat now. And that's the link if you'd like to explore and see what NAICS codes are applicable to your business.
Thank you. Next question is, I'm a new realtor. Is it recommended for me to open a business?
A realtor?
Yes.
There are many realtors out there who have decided that they'd like to start LLCs for reasons. That's something I would make an appointment, speak to a counselor, and discuss that. But yes, I have worked with a number of realtors in the past who had decided to form LLCs.
Yes, same goes to anyone who has any specific question like that. Please book a space with Vanessa and she'll be able to help you. Someone asks, I have my business form in Oregon. Can I register it in New Jersey too?
Yes, you can. You are permitted to register as a foreign. It's called registering as a foreign. All of this can be found right on the portal. And you just follow the instructions there if you so, and we can walk you through that if you have, I would make an appointment. But any business formed and registered in another state who wishes to do business in New Jersey or have a presence in New Jersey can register as a foreign. Same thing, it will cost you $128 to form the foreign and register it. You'll need a New Jersey registered agent.
Okay, someone asked, and I'll answer that one. That says, do we book an appointment with Vanessa through the QR code link, or better to email Vanessa directly? please register to the QR code. If you register in the past, then you can reach out to Vanessa through email just so we know what's going on there. But the easiest process and the one that will take the less amount of time will be registering through the system, because we also need your information when she's gonna reach out to you, and the system collects that directly. And we had, this is not a question, but someone says, greatly appreciate you all for your excellence in helping us. So thank you, Vanessa, again for being here with us.
Thank you.
And I just dropped the link again in the chat for those of you who want a copy of the resources and the PowerPoint that Vanessa is sharing with us today. Let's see. Someone says, can you please review the step number 1 needed to open a business?
Yes. So if you're talking about forming a business entity, the first thing you want to do is think about which business entity that you would like to choose. And let's say you choose the LLC. The first step is the formation of the LLC, and that's done through the portal, the NJ portal. Then you would, and it depends on what order you want to do it in. I would do it at the same time as you're going through the formation process. I would also then, what we would do when we walk you through it is we get your tax ID number from the IRS. Then we get through the whole formation, the $128, that's when you're charged. And then after that, the next step would be to register. There's no cost in the registration part of the application. The cost, the charge comes after to get the actual formation, certificate of formation. Then it'll lead you over to the registration, and that's where you'll answer questions about taxes, about ownership, about who the members are in the business, and that would provide you at the end of that your business registration certificate. So that's a really good question. I mean, that's basically, if we walk you through the process, that's what we do with you. And that is, takes usually under an hour. We get it done, and you're officially formed, registered, and ready to go.
Awesome. And we have 2 more questions to go. I just saw someone asking about any QuickBooks training that we have done in the past. I'll drop the link again in the chat for past webinars. There you can find many resources. We do webinars every week, so every Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So there is a comprehensive library there that you can find many resources for this new year. And then a new question is the formation step necessary for sole proprietorship as well as for LLC?
So in the formation piece of the process, as a sole proprietor, it's through the county clerk's office, and that's when you just get your trade name. For the LLC, the formation is done online from the NJ portal, and it is I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember what the exact question was, but the formation is required for the LLC, because once it's formed and you have your certificate of formation, then you're permitted to register that business.
Yeah.
Now, the sole proprietorship is a little different in that it's done through the county. You get your trade name. Once you have your trade name in place, you still need to register that online. You can go do that straight through the portal, but you'll see there's an option to register your sole proprietorship. So instead of registering your LLC, and it'll ask you which business type are you registering. And if it's an LLC, you say LLC. If it's a sole proprietorship, you'll see there's an option to register your sole proprietorship.
Great. Yeah, it was, the question was about the formation step is necessary for sole proprietorship as well as for LLC. So,
Yeah, right. One's a formation online through the NJ portal. The other is applying for a trade name through the county clerk's office.
great. Another question is, if you have a registered agent, does all the state time sensitive document are mailed to your business service provider or to the RA? So again, if you have a registered agent, does all the state time sensitive document are mailed to your business or service provider or to the RA, to the registered agent?
I think to the registered agent, although that's a good question for, it's a very good question. I don't necessarily know. I can't be 100% certain. I know for certain that the registered agent would receive all pertinent documentation from the state. Okay. But it's not clear to me if you were to use your business address for your business, that there aren't third party solicitors that would mail, now they know you're in business, would mail you something to your business. But um, for example, the important documentation that are, I would consider the most critical, which is the renewal, the reminder that it's time to pay your dues, that sort of stuff, um, goes to your registered agent address.
And as a follow-up question to that question that we just got, people are asking if you can use a PO box for.
Absolutely not. I should have said that. The registered agent has to be a legal registered agent. No PO box is allowed, and you must. If you're not going to be your own registered agent, then you have to um, find somebody who would be that registered agent for you, or elect to maybe hire a outside registered agent.
Right? And then the last question is, if I'm using my own name for the business, do I still need to go through the Essex County trade name stage?
Can you say that again?
If I'm using my own name, like my personal name for the business, do I still need to go through Essex County trade name stage?
Oh, I see. Um, I'm trying to think. I believe so. I'm trying to think in terms of registered businesses, register your sole proprietorship. You know, I, I'd have to check on that. I'd have to check on that. Maybe best to make an appointment. The trade name at the county clerk's office allows you to have operate under that name. It's unique within the county. It allows for you to represent yourself under that trade name. And then you would take that trade name and you can register it through the Division of Revenue and Treasury. And I believe that that is the point of the sole proprietorship. Now, whether or not you're just using your own name, you could be in business as a gig worker. You could be in business as a independent contractor, a 1099. It's all Schedule C tax filings. I'd have to get back on that and just take a closer look at how that sole proprietorship might work if you don't have it, if you still have to register or not.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I confused you. I best to make an appointment.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm pretty sure that every situation for every business is kind of different, and answers are not going to be exact for all of them. So yeah, great. if you can just make an appointment and have those answers and figure that out with Vanessa. I'm gonna take just one more question because this one is a good one. If one obtains a EIN for a sole proprietorship, does you need to change that EIN or file further paperwork to the IRS when you start an LLC? So if you have an INN for a sole proprietorship, if you want to start LLC, do you have to change that file or paperwork and number?
Yes, you do. So if you have an EIN for your sole proprietorship and then you decide down the road you'd like to form an LLC, you have to get a new EIN.
Great. Well, thank you, Vanessa, for everything. I hope we answer most of your questions. If you have any other questions and need any further assistance, please register to the link that we provide. That it's in your screen, the QR code. And I'm also trying to find the other one. I just put it in the chat. It's in the chat. It's njsbdc.com/startup. If you're not able to register to the QR code, you can go to that link and also register. I'll just share my screen to share some information with you. We already went through the Q&A section here. If the QR code it's bigger here, you can also use that. I'll leave it for a couple of seconds so you can point your camera there. Okay, hopefully that worked. And then for those of you asking for any funding for 2024, we're having this Thursday this webinar with Ryan Silvestre, one of our capital team consultants, and it's going to be talking about the future of commercial lending and what businesses need in 2024. So if you want to register, you can register now scanning the QR code here. Or you can also go to NJSBDC and see all of our upcoming events. We have a couple in January as well. And then just reminding you that we're here to support you. We have been helping 15K plus small businesses grow and register and start and thrive. So again, if you want to talk with Vanessa, you can scan the QR code here, or go to njsbdc.com/startup. That's all for today. I hope again you're having a great start to the year, and this is a great year for you.
Well, I also want to add, I'm sorry to interrupt, that we have counseling. You can request Spanish-speaking counselors.
Yeah, super important. We have Spanish-speaking consultants, and I'll say that in Spanish. Tenemos personas que hablan en español, así que también pueden registrarse en español. Thank you, Vanessa, for for the reminder. And yeah, thank you for being here today with us. See you in our next event, whether that's on Thursday or Tuesday. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.